Next up, we have a company from, I'm going to say it wrong name, Ingolstadt. So I'd like to ask Witold up on stage. Witold is the COO and co-founder of Arculus, who are doing some interesting stuff in the area of modular manufacturing. So take it away.
Welcome everyone. My name is Witold Kopitinsky. I'm CEO and co-founder of Arculus. You actually probably already heard about what we're doing. We've been in the newspaper. For those of you who don't speak German or can't read German, this basically says Audi is abolishing the assembly line. Audi wants to abolish the assembly line, the end of the assembly line. The two news or headlines that I actually like the most are these two, which are focusing more on the founder side rather than the customer side. But before I tell you what we're doing, I just want to give you a bit of background on why and how we're going to implement this our new solution, which we call modular production. So going 100 years back, you actually heard of this guy. This is Henry Ford. He used to say a customer can get a car painted any color they want as long as it's black, right? The guy had only one model, one variant, and of course it makes completely sense to have an assembly line. You always do the same, you don't change your process, you don't actually need to. So it works just fine. But the problem is if you go today to a dealer shop, you actually have this many variants or possibilities, combinations on what the features are on the car that you're actually buying. This number represents the variants of Audi A3 model, so you can have a reference. Today, trying to manufacture this is of course quite complicated. If you move towards the assembly line, all the processes are going to be different. You need different times, so it's messy. And we are moving more and more towards this mass customization trend, like lot size 1 kind of manufacturing, and the assembly line is no longer able to cope with this kind of situation. So this is where modular production comes into play. This is roughly what it looks like. Instead of having a line of production, you're going to have an area of production. We separate all the stations, the exact same amount of stations, the exact same amount of workers, but instead of being all connected in a fixed sequence, you have a grid, and you have the possibility, or rather the products have the possibility of choosing where to go next, depending on the load and the capacity of the system itself. So there's a couple of principles on how modular production works. First of all, there is no cycle time, or rather there's as many cycle times as stations that you have. Since they are all individual, the products can actually stay on every station as long as they need. They can actually skip the stations that they don't need. So this the system is balancing itself on real time. A second principle is, of course, is way more flexible. I like to think of modular production as a living or breathing kind of manufacturing system. If you have a specific bottleneck, you can duplicate a station, open it for a specific time window, and then you are getting rid of that bottleneck. If you have too much capacity, you can actually shut down specific stations on your system as well in order to shrink the system. So it's kind of adapting in real time to the capacity that you need. Another principle is, of course, something that I find to be very important, is that this is the very first system that is actually empowering operators. Today, all the operators have to follow the cycle time of the line. If you make a mistake, the line stops. One station actually stops all 200 of them, and it costs a lot of money. And that's a lot of pressure, actually, for the workers. Having this kind of scenario, if you make a mistake, of course, that problem is going to be limited to the station where you're working. You can take extra seconds if you want to. You can actually work faster if you want to as well. So it's kind of leveling to the capabilities of the worker and not the other way around. So the underlying rule that is managing this whole system is what we call the assembly priority chart, or ABC for short. It's a tree of interdependencies that connects all the processes that are needed to finish any set product in production. Since all the products are actually different from one another, they all have a different APC. And with this rule, you can actually choose where to go next. In this very simple example, you can see that the boxes that are green are the processes that have been already done. The ones that are red are the two available options, and the ones that are white are still not available because they're lacking a predecessor. So you can actually optimize the production flow on real time. So just to give you an idea, a couple of numbers comparing what we've developed as modular production with the assembly line. Of course, you're way more flexible. The throughput time is down by 30%, or if you want to see it, you get 30% more output with the same amount of stations, the same amount of workers. The logistics and the production flow costs go down tremendously. You cut down by half the time adaptation for new models. And of course, being, as I said before, being more flexible and scalable allows you to adapt to the market way faster and adapt your capacity, your production capacity, depending on what you are actually wanting to produce. So the way that we are working, developing this solution, the implementation itself, it's in 3 layers. So the very top layer is the backend, the logic itself, the algorithm, which is divided for logistics, for modular production, and an API or third-party integration module that we developed. In the middle, we have the middleware, which we call the fleet manager, which is going to be distributing the decisions made by our algorithms to the real world. And the real world, there on the bottom, is of course the AGVs, the autonomous guided vehicles, which are transporting both products and materials throughout the factory plant. They are the ones that are executing the tasks that have been optimized by our backend logic. So why is this that we are partnering with SAP I/O? The way that we want to integrate our solution into the SAP ecosystem looks something like this. So for the logistics part, we are already working on an integration with the EVM module from SAP. And the idea is that we get from SAP the information from a warehouse of what, from where and to where we have to take it, basically. And we are going to be managing the routing, the navigation, and the flow, basically. On modular production, we are planning on doing an integration with MES module, which is going to be, of course, a lot of work. It's going to take some months. But the idea is that we can integrate our solution, getting the information from SAP, such as the production planning, the bill of materials, the bill of processes, all the stations, the tasks, the times that are needed, so that you can actually take all of that information and run our algorithm and optimize the production flow as well. And lastly, but not least, the third-party APIs. I think it's very important as well because we are trying to position ourselves with our fleet manager as hardware agnostic. So we want to be able to control all the fleets of AGVs that are out there in the market, because today one of the major problems for SAP customers as well is that having different fleets that do not communicate to each other can actually cause a lot of problems. So if you put one robot in front of the other one, they do not recognize themselves as robots. They see an obstacle, and that is not being dealt with in an optimal way. So I would like to thank you, all of you, for your attention. If you have any specific questions, discussions, or whatever, we can talk at my booth. Thank you very much and enjoy.